Hey guys, welcome to BP, the Bible Perspective. So let's talk about the abortion issue that's raging through our nation faster than the wildfires of the West Coast. Is this a pro-choice or pro-life issue? And what about the babies that survive the hands of the abortion doctors? Now, before we get into it, please like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comments section below. All comments are welcome. Now, the abortion fight has been going on for the past 50 years in our nation. The pro-abortion group got their first win back in 1973 with the Supreme Court decision Roe versus Wade in Texas. Keep that in mind. But the main issue that we should be asking is, well, what is the purpose for the right? Now, this is what I mean. Pro-abortion people argue that a woman should have a right for abortion. Now, in the early days, this is the term they used, pro-abortion, meaning the right to abort pregnancy, terminate pregnancy. So what did that mean? And herein is the argument. We say it means to kill the life of the unborn child. So the argument of life has always been what this battle has been about. Now, in the early days, they called themselves pro-abortion. But seeing that that is a very derogatory term, right? Because it means just that, aborting the pregnancy, they soon changed the name to pro-choice. And that gave them a broader spectrum because it shifted from the term life to choice, meaning that the mother had a choice to control her body. Well, that's fine, just as long as you're talking about things that only pertains to her body, like, okay, you have a right not to get vaccinated. Okay, but the issue with pregnancy is that you have two lives that are involved: the life of the mother and the life of the child. And therein is where the arguments come, because pro-choice people would say the baby is not a life. It's just a fetus. I respond to that argument is in the same way that America, I criticize it, let me put it this way, I criticize it the same way America made the argument for slavery. Remember, they said in order to justify in their minds slavery, you had to say that black Americans were not humans. Thus, they were property. See, when you take the humanity away from humans, you then can do anything you want to them because they're not humans. Only humans are afforded rights. Well, this is the same strategy that pro-abortion people make. They take the humanity away from the child. And of course, we know as Christians, God declares life begins not only at conception, but life begins when God ordains it. As he pronounced to the prophet Jeremiah, I knew you before you were formed in the womb and ordained you to be a prophet to the nations. So you see, the pro-choice comes along and says, well, of course they don't go along with the biblical narrative, which then becomes the next question. What kind of mother would terminate, kill the life that's inside of them? And that brings us into now the Christian perspective. Because remember, Christians have been in this battle from the beginning. And back then, they had a lot more to their platform. What we know as the Christian right back then, they had several issues on their platform. One was abortion, but believe it or not, abortion wasn't the biggest. It was, but they had other things like alcohol, school prayer, you know. Um, but over, of course, time, these things become less an issue. The two surviving issues on their platform is gay rights and abortion. And truthfully, gay rights is really dead in the Christian right movement. Why? Because there are too many uh, gays who are fighting with them, who are conservative and Republicans. So you can't fight that. But abortion remains, of course, their issue of the day. But here's the problem with the Christians fight against and fight in the arena, the political arena, of trying to stop abortions. And maybe they think that they've won the battle with this new Supreme Court ruling, backing, of all places, Texas. Isn't that ironic that the legalization of abortion began in Texas, and the igniting of the war again is once again in Texas. By the way, you should know that the Texas ruling only really supports the Texas. I'm sorry, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruling only protects the Texas law. So here's the problem that Christians we have to kind of look at, or we should look at. So all this law does is says, okay, Texas, you have a right to begin your process of what? Banning abortions. Now, other states are gearing up for the same legal fight. But there are only states probably that's Republican. So here's what's going to happen in the present. You're going to have people who will just cross state lines and have abortions. Like, in New Mexico. The greater issue for Christians is, let's ask the question. What makes a mother want to terminate the life that is inside of her? And the answer to that question is a sinful, ungodly person, as all people are. There are people, we all have sinful desires and inclinations. Abortion, pornography, alcoholism, murder. We can go on and on and on. So the mother who says, I don't want my child, why? And let's just dismiss this whole silly argument that you hear with the pro-choice movement, where we're going to go back. What about the in cases of rape and incest? This is what they're touting, right? Well, it still doesn't deal with the issue of life. Remember, the issue of abortion is life. But the greater issue for Christian is the mother needs to come to Christ. Okay, so you have a win now. We have a win, and the battle is igniting, right, for overturning Roe versus Wade. But what did Christians win in this? That mother that you say now must keep the baby. What, Christians, what have we won in this? Because now that baby is going to be born to a mother that hates it, despises it. What kind of upbringing will that baby have? And let me be clear, I am 100% against abortion. I am 100% believe that life begins at conception. What I am saying is that the greater work in that mother's life is they need to come to Christ. And this is where we are missing the mark. So what about the baby now that survives the abortion, the murderous hands of the abortion doctor? Now they're living in a home, an ungodly home. See, so what about the babies now? And without a doubt, abortion has been a horrendous murder rate. But what about the parents? Do they know Christ? What plan of action, Christians, if we're rejoicing that this is a win? Does this landmark decision that reunites the abortion battle, does it build the kingdom of Christ? Does it add to the kingdom of Christ? What is our plan for these babies who are now going to be born? Again, this is a theoretical question because remember, a lot of the mothers, should this ban continue, I personally believe it is going to be overturned eventually. But in the meantime, people are just going to cross state lines, right? They're going to cross state lines to have these abortions. So the question becomes, will the abortion ban be federal in every state? Will the Supreme Court hand that down? Now, I have to say, I didn't think they would do this one, so I have to put a question mark by my own right thoughts. But in the end, I think the sinful nature will win out. And no, I don't think it's going to stand. I know there are Christians who think that they feel some kind of validation that God put Trump in because God put two of the Supreme Court justices that fought, they ruled in favor of Texas. But again, I'm asking the question, how does that build the kingdom of God? I think we much rather should reach the mother and turn the mother to Christ. And hopefully, in your rejoicing that you won this case, that you have a plan that, hey, you know what? Let's look out for the babies who will be born and turn them to Christ. Hopefully that's your plan too. Hopefully you have that of a plan. Because I don't know. I'm doubtful of that. But okay, guys, look. That's my perspective. I would love to hear what you think. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comments section below. All comments are welcome. Till next time, I'll see you then.